Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Southern Republic back with you for another knife review, and today we are going to be reviewing the Cold Steel Voyager Large Tanto. You might be wondering why I have it so zoomed out. I'll zoom in on you. Voyager Large Tanto, 4-inch blade. Because I decided to kind of do a little update before I get started on this review. And kind of give you a little idea of what's going to be coming up in the channel here in the next couple of weeks, some of the reviews that I'll be doing. Obviously we'll be continuing on with the Spyderco value folder line. We've done the Ambitious. I've already shot the video for the Persistence. It is right now rendering on my editing software. After that we will be discussing the let me get that out of the way. We'll be discussing the Spyderco Tenacious, which everyone has discussed. I know. After that, we will most likely be discussing my brand new Manix 2, along with the Dragonfly 2. Following, I don't know, in no random specific order, we'll be throwing in the Benchmade Griptilian, because it's one of my favorites. And let's make some room here. I'm running out of room. Always run out of room. Never fails. Let's get some room here. Need some room. Alright, there we go. And definitely going to be throwing this bad boy in, and I'll do it off camera because I'll probably hit the camera if I don't. Bam! The Cold Steel Spartan will be up for review here relatively shortly. So let me get these bad boys all out of the way and we can get started with our review today. And I think I really like the what I wound up doing with the last review for the Ontario Route 1. So before we get started with the review for this Cold Steel Voyager Large Tanto plain edge, I'm going to go ahead and roll in some sexy images of it, and we'll be right back with the review. And images in 3, 2, 1, bada boom. Alrighty, so I was kind of surprised. Didn't find a whole lot of blade porn images for this Voyager Tanto point. But I guess it's a pretty new knife, so there's not a whole lot of, you know, knife porn out there for it yet. I don't know, maybe I'll take some of my own and see what I can do for you. But kind of want to start out and kind of make a little quick comparison to a blade that I have already reviewed on the Southern Republic channel, which would be our old friend the Recon 1, which is the one that took a nice little, let's see if we can get that to focus for you, chunk out of my middle finger. You can all go back to that one and you can watch me bleed profusely all over the table and somewhat bleed all over the handle of the old Recon 1 while I was trying to film that review. That was awesome, by the way, let me tell you. Woo! Do a couple quick comparisons. Obviously, very similar blade shape. You can see on the Recon 1, it is slightly more defined Tanto blade as the Voyager. You can kind of tell here that the Voyager has a little bit more of a rounded Tanto shape here on the actual, you know, the biggest part of the blade, as opposed to the Recon 1 you can see is much more just kind of a hard, straight edge, Japanese style Tanto point. Handles are a little bit different in shape. You can see the Voyager has a little bit more curve to the handle, as the Recon 1 is a little bit straighter. Obviously two different, you know, handle materials completely. Same type of lockup, you know, same deployment. Amazing, you know, both blades there. You're gonna see pretty similar prices, honestly. I've seen the Voyager go for 45 to 60-ish ballpark. and the Recon 1, depending on which version you get, the old one or the newer one. This is the newer Recon 1. You can get that pretty much 50 to 65, so right around in the same ballpark for either blade. But either way you go, great knife. So let's get this guy out of the way. Back to this. All right, let's talk specifics, and then we'll talk about all the other good stuff. So the blade length from tip to handle is a full 4 inches. You do lose a little bit here in the cutting surface. You lose a little bit there. I mean, but you do have a nice belly on this Tanto blade. I think it's great. Excellent sharpness. I've been using this one at work the last 2 or 3 days, and definitely enjoying it. I have some complaints, but we'll get to those later. The overall length from tip to tip is 9.25 inches with a 5.25 inch handle, which obviously for me with big hands is fantastic because it allows me to have a full grip. As you can tell there, let me get my hand flatter. You can tell I can get a nice full grip on that when using it. As for the blade thickness, we'll put her up here. You got 3.5 millimeters, the same blade thickness as the Recon 1. Let's see if we can get those up side by side. You can tell, same blade thickness, same lockup, same lack of jimping. But hey, that's okay. You can get your skateboard tape or whatever you want to do, or just hang on to the blade, you'll be alright. As for the blade steel, it is the Japanese AUS 8, which obviously we know has a little bit lower carbon content than the Chinese comparison of the 8CR13 MOV. So I know I have some people have commented on some other stuff about not being huge fans of AUS 8. For me, like I said, there's not a whole lot of issues with different blade steels here for where I live in a desert region. So we don't have a whole lot of moisture issues. So rust on a blade really isn't much of an issue for me. You know, being overseas when I was in Afghanistan and being here in the Arizona desert, you know, it's just not an issue really for me at all with the different kinds of blade steels. I know AUS 8 is a little bit more prone to rust spots in moisture or in moist or humid climates. I've read about that. But for me and for where I am, no issues whatsoever. So, but do know that, you know, AUS 8, you will have a little bit more rust issues in more humid tropical climates. But again, if you care for your blades and you store them properly, you know, in safes or in humid-free areas, you aren't going to have any issues, really. So, again, as for blade shape, obviously it's clearly a Tanto. It's a modified Tanto, in my opinion, because you do have a little bit more of a rounded belly here on the actual, you know, major blade surface. So, it's a modified Tanto is what I'm going to call it. As for speed and deployment, I think this bad boy just is spectacular deployment wise. Let me zoom out here so you can see. Whoop, wrong direction. Again, still getting used to the camera. So, bam. I mean, that thing just comes out like a rocket. It's not cut myself this time. Haha. I will cut myself next time, watch. I mean, that just comes out with authority. Just absolute authority. Here, one more. Bam! Love it. Back on the table. It's hefty. Got a good weight to it. I haven't the slightest clue how much this thing weighs, so I didn't see that when I was doing my research on it. So let me get the scale out. And I don't want to hear any comments on what kind of scale I'm about to use. I know what kind of scale it is. I know where I bought it. It's deal with it, alright? So the scale is opening. Yeah, you'll laugh when I put the little thingy on it. Alright, shut up. Alright, let's turn the old scale on. And I know you probably cannot see what the scale says. I'll tell you, don't worry. So let's put that in there. So it looks like we have 4.97 ounces, so just shy of 5 ounces. And this scale is calibrated. I do calibrate it regularly because I do use it for food prep and other things. So not what you're thinking of. I'm not into that shit. I'm straight edge. I barely drink anymore. I do enjoy my cigars though. So, but none of that other crap. I'm a good boy. I have an education. I live by the law. It's not legal. Don't do that stuff. Alright, I'm off my soapbox, so let me zoom back in here. Here at the Southern Republic, we're all about following the law. Most of the time. Alright, so obviously we talked about lockup and strength. I mean, these blades are just, it's cold steel, man. Nothing. You beat the crap out of them all you want. I've beaten the crap out of this thing pretty sufficiently, and it's still no dice on the changing. Let's talk about that handle. This is one of the things I'm not super keen on in this blade. I'm going to zoom in on it a little bit more for you. No, out, in. There we go. So as you can see, it's got an interesting texture. It's like the Maltese cross texture. Let me see if I can get that to focus. So you got a little Maltese cross action. It's kind of cool. I mean, it's obviously different, which is cool. It is what it's called a grivery, or I don't know, however you pronounce it. But it's a grivery handle material, which it's stronger than Zytel. So obviously it's a step up from a Zytel handle or a plastic handle. And the grivery, it's impervious to moisture. It's not going to crack, warp, or shrink on you. So, and also on this blade, as you can see inside, it does have steel liners. It is a heat treated 6061 aluminum that they're using on the liners for this blade. So they're not milled. You could cut a little bit of weight, cold steel, if you would mill that. Think about it. Okay. You could always go out to the drill press and mill it yourself if you really feel like it. I'm thinking about doing it to another blade, but we'll see what happens. So all in all, like the grivery handle, it's not my best option in my opinion. There are some other handles. Obviously I do generally prefer G10 handles, especially ones with good texture, but there's excellent texturing on this. It's grivery. It's a cold steel thing. They've used it on a couple of different knives. Obviously, let me zoom out. I mentioned that in an upcoming review, we will be talking about the cold steel Spartan. It obviously also has the grivery handles scale, so it is what it is. So, all right, back to what we're talking about here. Our cold steel Voyager large Tanto. Of course, obviously, I already showed it to you in my hand. I mean, I love the cold steel handle designs. I think they're fantastic. But let's get to my biggest issue with this knife. And we are going to zoom in on it right here. The clip. This is an issue with cold steel I have on a lot of their blades. It's the reason I'm just not going to waste my time buying either of the AK-47s, the large one or the mini. Cold steel does not quite understand the concept that texturing underneath the clip is a bad idea. I mean, I enjoy my clothing. My clothing is not expensive. I'm a big man. Big man's clothing, a little bit more expensive than y'all's. So, but the biggest thing about it is this is a very rough texture. This pattern they put under on this grivery handles. And this clip is like right on that. I mean, I even see it in the 2 or 3 days I've been carrying this. I can already see that it's doing a little bit of damage to my pockets, clipping it on there. So this may have a JB Weld modification in the future, most likely this weekend. So I will film that and we will see how it comes out. Could be an epic failure, who knows? Might make YouTube history, screwing the holy crap out of your blade. But I don't know, I'm going to take a shot at it and see what happens. I do like the clip design. I love the deep carry that they do. I mean, I gotta say 95% of this blade is in your pocket with just this little area visible, which obviously you can't even see steel for the blade, so it's easy to hide right in your pocket. As for durability and value, obviously you saw what I paid for it, and I see someone already commented that I overpaid. Well, I neglected to point out that a good buddy of mine happens to work at said gun range and hooked said homeboy up with his discount. So I did not pay $60, a little over $60 for it. I got the buddy discount. So, I probably paid around $50 realistically for this blade, which is in the ballpark of some of the online stores like Blade HQ. I know they've got it for like $44.99 right now plus shipping, which is a phenomenal deal. If I had seen that before I bought it, I would have jumped all over ordering it from them and not buying it through a store. But, you know, I was there. I was looking to spend some money. You know, it happened. So, whatever. But I still think even at 60 bucks, this is a worthwhile knife. I really think for the size that you're going to get and the type of knife and, you know, what you're going to be able to do with this knife, 60 bucks is not unreasonable. You're definitely going to get your bang for your buck on $60 for this blade. If you can find it cheaper, Blade HQ right now for like $44.99 plus shipping. I'm going to say that again. I'll put a link in the description if it's still that price. If not, I'll still put a link in the description, you know. I like it, so you should like it. Yeah, go get it. Whatever. It's a cool knife. I like it. It's got a great look to it. I mean, obviously, you know, I'm an IT dweeb at work. When I snap out a big old knife like this to, you know, cut the little plastic thing wraps off a new hard drive like I did today, you know, the boss goes, ah, that's a big knife, dude. And I go, yeah, but I have bigger. Just wait till I start carrying the Spartan. Pow! This is Sparta! 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 Dun 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 dun. Yeah. You know. Yeah, I'm just being stupid now. Alright. Alrighty, so you get the point. It's a kick-ass knife. If you want to go get one, definitely go get one. I dig it. It's part of my collection. It's one of the ones I'm probably going to be carrying for a while now. Since I've moved on from the Rat 1 to carrying this bad boy right now. So, alrighty, as usual, ladies and gentlemen, Semper Fi. And remember, there's a cool website out there for all your Marine Corps needs. I think it's grunt.com. Just a shout out to them because I think they're awesome. Ordered all kinds of silly stuff from them, but they've got a Valentine's Day special right now for like $6.99. You can get a obviously plated gold dog tag that says property of a U.S. Marine or I belong to a U.S. Marine if you want to give it to your girlfriends. But it's pretty awesome, so I thought it was pretty nifty. So, honey, if you're listening, ignore the next 5 seconds. So, hey, or ignore the previous 10 seconds, whatever. But, so yeah, as always, ladies and gentlemen, Semper Fi, and I will see you next time. And remember, subscribe. Voyager, large Tanto, 4-inch blade. Because I decided to kind of do a little update before I get started on this review and kind of give you a little idea of what's going to be coming up in the channel here in the next couple of weeks, some of the reviews that I'll be doing. Obviously, we'll be continuing on with the Spyderco value folder line. We've done the Ambitious. I've already shot the video for the Persistence. It is right now rendering on my editing software. After that, we will be discussing the... Let me get that out of the way. We'll be discussing the Spyderco Tenacious, which everyone has discussed. I know. After that, we will most likely be discussing my brand new Manix 2, along with the Dragonfly 2. Following, I don't know, in no random specific order, we'll be throwing in the Benchmade Griptilian, because it's one of my favorites. And let's make some room here. I'm running out of room. Always run out of room. Never fails. Let's get some room here. Need some room. Alright, there we go. And definitely going to be throwing this bad boy in, and I'll do it off camera because I'll probably hit the camera if I don't. Bam! The Cold Steel Spartan will be up for review here relatively shortly. So let me... Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Southern Republic back with you for another knife review, and today we are going to be reviewing the Cold Steel Voyager Large Tanto. You might be wondering why I have it so zoomed out. I'll zoom in on you. Get these bad boys all out of the way, and we can get started with our review today. And I think I really like the what I wound up doing with the last review for the Ontario Route 1. So before we get started with the review for this Cold Steel Voyager Large Tanto plain edge, I'm going to go ahead and roll in some sexy images of it, and we'll be right back with the review. And images in 3, 2, 1, bada boom.